Coach Ben here, bigbenchas.com. Today I want to go over foot positioning on the bench. Just simply talk about where to put your feet in your designated stance, alright? I'm not going to get into a bunch of ways to get leg drive and all that. Very simple video, just where to put your feet. Okay, so let's start with a flat foot bench, okay? Tops of your feet are out here. And what's determining the width of your feet? Well, if I get into my setup, and my feet are too close and I'm trying to push back and drive, my butt's coming off the bench. And of course in competition you can't have your butt off the bench. So I'm going to have to bring my feet out, because if I'm wider, my butt's going to stay on the bench. So that's kind of determining where my width of my feet are going. So how wide I go out, it's just wherever I can get the most drive and my butt's not coming off the bench. Another thing here is I see people go way too far back with their feet. Alright, so they're back here, their ankles way behind their knees. It's almost like they're in between a flat foot bench and a toes back bench. Alright, you don't really know what they're doing. You're putting awkward force into the ground. You're not really driving back. In order to drive back, you're going to have your feet aligned with your knees or in front of your knees a little bit, because then you can get that force back. See, I can push back now compared to just pushing into the ground awkwardly. Alright, and another thing I want to go over in the flat foot bench is the toe angle. So a lot of people will bench with their toes straight ahead. That's what you usually see in a commercial gym. No one really knows too much better. Alright, but the problem with this is you can't get much surface area into the ground. I'm really just pressing it in that vertical plane here. So when I turn my toes out, I create a lot more surface area to press against. Alright, I can get a much stronger press because I'm pushing with that whole side of my foot now. Alright, so right here, I've got my feet out. I'm pushing through the toes, through the balls of the feet, not just the heel. Some people prefer to press through the heel, but then you're kind of missing out on the whole foot action. When I press through the balls of my feet, not only am I pressing through my heels, but I'm pressing through the whole foot. So I'm getting a lot more force than if I just focused on my heels. You know what I'm saying there? So think about driving through the balls of your feet, like the big toe, and you'll get a lot more force involvement here. Another thing to cover is just the traction. Now, when I hit my 500 bench, I had a traction issue going on. The platform had a carpet, and I was kind of slipping a little bit with my foot. I was wearing one of the power shoes by Mark Bell, similar to a Chuck Taylor. It has a good grip to it, but on the carpet it was sliding a little bit. Boots are also good as well, anything that gives you good traction. But in my scenario, I actually had to kind of dig the side of my foot into the ground. So that's something you might encounter if you're on a platform that has a slippery surface and you really need to create that traction. You might actually have to dig the side of your foot into the ground a little bit to kind of get that traction instead of having your foot flat in the ground. But those are the main things with the flat foot bench. It's just the foot positioning here. The width is determined by keeping your butt down. You need to create that little bit of a toe angle. You need to keep your ankle in front of your knee or in level with your knee so you can get that force driving back. And then just determine your footwear and everything to create that good traction to the ground. You need to be solid to the ground. You can't have your foot slipping out or that's the end of your bench. Alright, when you're getting proper leg drive, a lot of your bench is relying on that leg drive you're getting and the traction through the foot. There's a lot of force going on here, and if I slipped, that's the end of my bench. Alright, so make sure you're sturdy to the ground. You might have to dig the sides in, like I was saying. Thing with the toes back now, so if I get into the toes back stance, right here, a lot of people will set it way too far on their toes. So right here, I'm like on my tippy toes. I can't really get any force here. I feel tight, but it's artificial tightness just from being on my toes so much. I can't get any drive, right? It's very hard for me to get any drive with my feet. So if I'm going toes back, make sure that your toes are down, you're on the balls of your feet, okay, compared to being way on your tippy toes. So from this position, if I'm on the balls of my feet, I can drive as hard as I want here, right there. See that? And again, the width of my feet is going to be determined by keeping my butt down. So if I'm here and I'm popping up, I might just need to have to come a little wider. Alright, that's all. But you need to be on the balls of your feet when you're going toes back. You're not going to get anything out of being way on your toes. I can't drive in this position. I'm tight, but that's about it. Alright? If from here, I can drive hard. All right, creating a wedge. So that's the difference there. And that's pretty much just where you need to put your feet with the flat foot bench and the toes back. Where you position your feet makes a huge difference in the bench. Just want to make that simple video today for you guys so you know where to place your feet while you're benching to get proper leg drive. All right, it's Coach Ben, bigbenchas.com. Make sure you follow on Instagram at bigbenchas. And please check out all the YouTube videos I'm putting out. Go to the website, check that out as well. And keep sharing the content, guys. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.